Okay, and now I think this is going. I'm just checking a couple of things just to make sure I can at least see myself. I don't want to hear myself. There we go. Yeah, I think we're good at this point. Um, Once again, for those of you who don't know, my name is Scott Cos20. Um, Thank you for taking the time to watch this. It's 9:06 p.m. on the East Coast. The sun's still kind of out here in Western New York. But I wanted to give a little bit of an update on a couple pieces of what's happening. Um, some changes that we're going to be making on SCF for the next few weeks. Some of them are gonna be quite noticeable. Some of them are going to be more subtle itself. The first piece that I have already announced, but I want to reiterate this, is all the forms from non-sports card forum. Those are going to be moving over and into the sports card forum site itself. Now, with that said, a couple of things I want to kind of highlight what you're going to see with non-sports card forum, the actual forms itself, and how they're going to be set up, is it's going to be kind of on a little bit of a different page. And the reason why I want to set it up that way is to create a little bit of a separation. Don't want to add a lot more forms onto the main page itself. So there's going to be a couple of things that you're going to see that's going to be a little bit different. So let me see if this will let me share my screen. And I think this will share. I think you are seeing sports card form at this point. What you're going to see is where SCF Main is. You're going to see a button for SCF Main, for non-sports card forum main, and in that it's actually going to direct you to the non-sports card forums themselves. It's a little bit of it'll actually keep the sports cards and the non-sports cards give a little bit of a separation, kind of give it two different community looks. They're within the same house, so to speak. And as I mentioned when I posted this, doing it this way is going to allow members that have non-sports cards or sports cards or both to utilize the trade manager, be able to utilize the inventory manager, the other tools that we do have on sports card forum at this point. There's going to be a lot of good that's going to come from it. I think what you're going to see initially is you're going to see some growing pains with it. People are going to be looking for the forms and not necessarily see them right away. So that's going to be something that it'll be something we'll keep in mind as we go through. So that's going to be first and foremost. So I would suspect I got some testing to do over the next week or so. I'm going to be doing that really on a development site, doing the tests there, make sure everything goes over the way it's supposed to. So this way I can realistically just lift it and bring it over, depending on how everything looks from that standpoint. So that part of it, that part of it should be fairly straightforward to bring over. The other piece that's going to be important that you're going to see a noticeable change with is the actual forms themselves, the sport forms. So again, I'm going to reshare my screen, and I'm actually going to go down into the hockey forms. Actually, yeah, I'll go into the hockey forms because I did make some changes there earlier in the year, but we're going to be making some further changes. Next week, Monday, there's actually going to be a skeleton of what the forms, the sport forms are going to more look like. We're going to condense some things down. Instead of having a ton of different subforms. And let's say if we go into hockey, buying and selling. Actually, let me check that one, because that is actually hockey card trading I was looking for. Again, there's a number of, again, some additional subforms off of that as well. So there's going to be some things that we're going to make some changes within here. We'll make some better use of prefixes. And the prefixes themselves, realistically, are, if you're posting a thread or going to post a thread, you may see something that's a prefix at the top before the title. And we'll have different prefixes. My plan is to have different prefixes in here, whether it's set building, whether it's high-end trading, those types of pieces in there. So when people do look at the thread itself, and I'm just going to post one up here just so you can see this. If I can spell test right. So in this particular case here, so I'm just going to submit the thread. So when you go look at this, thread itself, you'll see the prefix in front of it. Now, we're not going to make the prefixes required. It's going to be something, if you want to use the prefix, great. You can utilize the prefix. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. It's going to give everybody a little bit more flexibility. It's going to basically declutter some things that are happening within the forums itself. And it's going to take some, I think it's going to take a little bit of time of getting used to, because realistically it's taken a while for those people, taken a while for those things to make the change. It's going to take some time for people to get used to the change itself. So I think it's something that over time you're going to be able to see that. Another piece that I'm hoping to do is, because this is a live, we got a live stream happening right now with the Google Hangouts tied into the YouTube channel itself. I actually want to be able to open this up in order to allow for different things, be able to allow for kind of maybe a podcast once a week or whatever, discuss the hobby. Maybe we do some breaks in here. Maybe there's a few other things that we do. I think there's a ton of potential that's here. And this is going to be something where I will post a thread later tonight asking for thoughts, different ideas. What do you want to see? It's not necessarily always going to be box breaks or anything along those lines. It could just be simple sports talk. It could be whatever we want this to be. So there's a lot of flexibility that's here in utilizing this. I don't think this is going to be something that we would do on a daily basis at this point, but it's something that we have a lot of potential to utilize. So that's something to think about as well. Some other small points I do want to bring up with the site itself. If you haven't noticed, some of the issues. Let's talk about some of the issues that you may have run into over this past week. The feedback, not being able to leave feedback on deals, that's been resolved. Part of the resolution itself had to do with, I'll be blunt. I made a change, backed it up. The backup didn't keep. It's on me. So I had to go. It took a while to find where the issue was. However, one of the things I'm not going to be doing is I'm going to be doing all my testing now on the test site itself. So if I do break something, I can always just have it overridden. So that one's on me. That mistake won't happen again. The next big topic of discussion that's come up is the item pricing rule. The item pricing rule was put into place right after I took over as owner of Sportscardforum. It was based upon you as the membership had wanted back during a vote in 2015. The rule itself was never really implemented, so I just completed that vote and implemented what you guys had wanted. There is discussion on it at this point. No changes are imminent. However, it's something that I'm open to discussing. So if you've not seen that post and the feedback and suggestions on item pricing, and you have an opinion one way or the other, please share it. Again, I make no promises on which direction we're going to go. The rule is today that if you're posting something in the buy and sell threads, the expectation is that you are putting a price with it. That's not changing anytime soon. That again, that might change at a later point. But it's something where I want to make sure if we do something, if we do make a change, I want to make sure that we're doing it right. So that's there. A couple other pieces I do want to mention. I will be heading to nationals in August. I will be setting up with Don Ice Age, a few other people. My plan is to really be accessible to any of the membership that's there. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to end up posting, I don't want to say a sign-up sheet, so to speak, because it's kind of, this is a hobby. This is not something where I want to set time to say, oh, if you're a member and you want to talk to me, you've got 15 minutes. I don't want to do that. But if you want to set time aside with me and you want to reach out and say, hey, I'm going to be at the Nationals at this time, is it possible for us to talk? Let me know. We're going to be at booth 461. So come on over, meet us. Got a few things that I'm trying to plan out at this point. Whether it's there's a couple, at least one prize I will have at the Nationals for Flyer fans. It's a Sean Couturier Team Canada puck. I don't know how exactly I'm going to give that away yet, but that is something that I will be giving away at the Nationals. Being it's outside Philly in Atlantic City, I figure that's actually something halfway decent. Flyer fans, I'm sure, would be happy to get that, or not. So that is, so there's gonna be some more threads. I know Don's got the thread going on right now about the Nationals itself. So that's something, if you're planning on going, post what days or days that you're heading up. I'd love to meet as many people as possible. I'm actually going to have a sign. I'm going to try to get as many members to sign the banner as well. It's a 2 foot by 3 foot banner. I had a couple of them made up before Expo in Toronto, so I'm going to have one of them for everybody to sign. We'll take it from there. So that's coming up. Nationals. It's about 6 weeks away. I'm not even close to being ready, but that's something that we'll be ready. Inventory manager. So I do want to talk about the inventory manager. If you haven't noticed, we have started to add in non-sports cards into the inventory manager. There's content. There's the monthly contest that's still going on for every month for the rest of the year. Uploading images. There will be some right now in the planning stages of kind of outlining and just brainstorming some changes that are potentially going to be made to the inventory manager. I don't know how that's all going to look at this point, so it's more in a brainstorming phase where we are at this point on that. As it gets a little bit closer, I would suspect that some more information will be provided to you all at that point in time. So that's something to be mindful of. The last piece I do want to get into on this particular video itself is just really my thank you. As always, the Sports Card Forum wouldn't exist without you guys as members and gals. So if there's questions, if there's issues, if there's things that come up, by all means, bring them to my attention. I cannot make you any promises that I can solve 100% of the issues 100% of the time. Or there's changes that are going to be made that may help you, but it's going to hinder a number of other folks. I mean, there's going to be some things that can be done, some things that's simply we can't do. But it doesn't mean I can't listen. And again, going back to the item pricing, that's where the item pricing stemmed from. I have to be willing to listen to you all as members. So with that said, if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, the biggest items realistically are the merging of the non-sports card forum threads and making the changes. Those are some of the big things that you're going to see. They're going to be quite noticeable. There's going to be some other subtle changes you're going to start to see as well. I am, again, as I mentioned, I am planning on playing with colors. I am planning on changing things around, how things look, how things are packed on the site itself. One other piece I do want to show you. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this one up. Currently today, when you go to Sportscardforum.com, it takes you right to the forums homepage. One of the pieces that I'm toying with the idea, and it's again something that I'm not 100% there yet, but it's something where I want to take a look at potentially creating more of a homepage look. So what the forums site has, or what the forums has associated with it, is really a content front end. Now, this content front end was built a long time ago. Some of the pieces here don't work the way they necessarily should. So there's some changes that I need to make from this standpoint. But there's a lot of different things, a lot of variables that can be utilized with this front end, so to speak. And I'm actually going to log out, so this way you can actually see what it's going to look like, even when you're not logged into the site. So it's going to allow you to see different content, different articles, being able to do different types of searches and different things that anybody can come and take a look at, be able to see, be able to read. And then in addition, along the top, the headers are going to remain the same. So the header, if you were to go into the forums itself and start taking a look at the forum headers are going to be the same from the content. Inventory manager, at some point I want to make sure that the header that's here matches the header that's here. So again, there's a lot of different pieces, a lot of different things that I would love to be able to do over time. So it's going to be something where, as that happens, as that occurs, you're going to start to notice those pieces. I'll probably I should give a little bit of a heads up before it does go through. As I mentioned, if you have questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and post it down below on Sports Card Forum. This video should be available relatively soon afterwards, but this is the first time I'm utilizing the Hangouts to do this, so I'm learning along with you guys as well. So if you are watching, thank you for taking the time out of your evening. Have yourself a good night.